Once upon a time, a story began on a Christmas. There was a little girl selling matches on the cold street. Her father demanded she sell every last match, forbidding her to return home until her task was done. So, she left the home that had no hope and the only warmth she had.
Do you want to buy some matches? Matches?
Looking at the busy crowd around her, the little match girl wondered, will anyone come to buy my matches? From day to night, finally someone bought a box of matches from the little match girl. When handing the matchbox to the stranger, the little girl seemed to feel a warm current passing through her hands to her heart. However, she only sold one box of matches and she didn't dare to go home. Because what awaits her is surely a beating and harsh scolding. There was nothing left to hold her to such a home. The little match girl wandered barefoot through the snow-covered streets, with nothing but the cold and the falling snow to keep her company. At the corner of the street, she glimpsed a bakery adorned with delicate Christmas decorations. The warm glow from inside contrasted sharply with the cold outside. If only those buying bread and cakes could also buy just one box of matches from her, she thought with a wistful ache in her heart. The little match girl gazed longingly at the bread in the shop window. She hadn't eaten all day, and her stomach had been rumbling non-stop. She thought wistfully, if only I could trade my basket of matches for a piece of bread. The warmth of the bakery called out to her, offering comfort and solace, but she was too afraid to go inside. Fear held her back, leaving her alone in the cold. The little match girl was very hungry and tired, so she sat down in a corner. Even though she was exhausted, she couldn't stop staring at the bread in the bakery window, wishing she could have a piece. As the night became darker and the snow fell more heavily, the little match girl couldn't stop shivering. The cold was so sharp it felt like it was reaching deep into her bones, and she thought she might freeze completely. With hands nearly numb from the cold, she trembled as she struck a match, its tiny flame flickering to life in the darkness. In the faint glow of the match, the little match girl saw a giant fireplace appear from the sky. The warm, crackling flames danced before her eyes, and the heat seemed to seep into her heart, filling her with a warmth she had never known before. As the little match girl was lost in the warmth she so desperately wished for, the tiny flame flickered and went out in the cold wind. She saw the world just as it was before, a beautiful but cold Christmas night, with the streets filled with people, their faces distant and unkind. Tears welled up in the little girl's eyes and gently spilled down her cheeks. The little match girl quickly struck another match with hope. Wow, a sumptuous feast suddenly appeared next to the fireplace. The feast was filled with delicious festive food, ready for Christmas. The little girl looked at these delicious foods and couldn't help swallowing her saliva. Her eyes were wide open and full of surprise. Suddenly, the turkey on the plate soared into the air and flew straight towards the little girl. Then, countless loaves of bread and cakes began to fall from the sky.
Wow!
The little match girl kept exclaiming. She was overjoyed.
Wow!
Suddenly, everything returned to how it used to be, but the cold, unfriendly faces on the street were gone. All that was left was the deep, quiet night, and the snow kept falling, growing thicker and thicker. The match had gone out, and the little girl was once again lost in darkness and cold. She stared blankly ahead, her eyes wide open, tears streaming down her face. And so, filled with hope, she struck another match. This time, she saw a golden Christmas tree, shimmering so beautifully it took her breath away. Such a lovely tree must belong in another child's home, she thought. But just as she was thinking that, her grandmother magically emerged from the Christmas tree, appearing right before her eyes. Yes, it was her grandmother, the one who loved her most dearly in this entire world.
Grandma.
As the little match girl finished speaking, her grandmother suddenly disappeared with a pop, and the match went out again. In front of her, only the lonely night sky remained, with soft snowflakes floating gently down. The little match girl, calling out desperately for her grandmother, struck all the matches in a rush. The match lit up again, and this time, the little match girl saw a door appear in the sky above her. Then, Grandma appeared at the door like an angel, and it looked so warm inside. There was light, warmth, and her beloved grandmother who loved her the most. The little match girl longed for it with all her heart. Suddenly, she felt herself floating, rising higher and higher, until she drifted up into the clouds. She found Grandma. Morning came, and passers-by saw a little match girl, frozen to death on the corner of the street.
No, she didn't die. She just went to be with her grandmother. She doesn't long for this world anymore.
The story of the little match girl teaches us 4 important lessons. First, stand against child abuse. Dear children, if you ever find yourself in a situation of abuse, remember that you deserve to be safe and cherished. Seek help from a trusted adult or reach out to a child welfare hotline. There are always caring hearts ready to protect you. Second, embrace gratitude. Sweet children, when you feel disappointed by the treats your parents offer, think of the little match girl who could only dream of such delicacies. When you keep asking for new shoes that you can never wear out, imagine the little match girl walking barefoot in the snow, longing for even the tiniest bit of warmth. When you throw a tantrum at your mom and dad or toss away your toys, picture her deep yearning for a simple hug from her parents, a hug she would never receive. So always remember to be grateful and cherish what you have. Third, self-presentation and teamwork. While it's important to understand the value of confidently showcasing your own talents, it's equally crucial to recognize the limitations of individual ability. Acknowledge that some tasks cannot be accomplished alone. Sometimes, embracing teamwork is essential. Fourth, the importance of kindness. Never doubt the kindness in your heart when you buy a box of matches from the little match girl on a cold winter night. No act of kindness, no matter how small, is ever wasted. And no wrongdoing, no matter how minor, should ever be done. The Little Match Girl is a deeply touching story that teaches us the importance of kindness, gratitude, standing up against injustice, and the power of teamwork in overcoming life's challenges. Even in the darkest moments, the forces of kindness, gratitude, courage, and unity can light the way to a brighter future.